Hey guys, so today is going to be episode 1 of Horror Talk, and I'm just going to quickly tell you the palettes that I'm going to be using to create my eye look, and then we're going to get on into the spooky. So I'm just going to start, this is going to be my first look using some of the palettes that I picked for my project pan. So I'm going to be using the shade Root Beer from the Maybelline Soda Pop palette. I'm going to be using, this is from Beauty Concepts, this beige from the ColourPop So Fly. We're going to be going into Speedy, which is a peachy matte with glitter. From the All Amethyst palette, I'm going to be going into the shade Brilliant. And then I haven't decided if I want to do a pressed glitter, but I do have in my project pan this purpley mauve glitter. So that's a maybe. I want to see how the look comes out. So I'm not going to really be talking about the eye look and what I'm doing, but I did just want to quickly mention those are the products. I'm using my Elizabeth Ma eye primer, and I'm going to be going in with my It Cosmetics Superhero Mascara. So, now, to move on to the spooky. Today's episode 1, is going to be, well, it's going to be the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series for these first few episodes. But today, of course, we have to start with the 1974 original. So, on IMDb, its rating is a 7.4 out of 10, which I think is pretty good considering, you know, how old this movie is. In my opinion, it is my probably second to least favorite, just because of the graphics of the movie. I don't think it's the best, but I also take into consideration the fact that, you know, this was made in 1974, so for that, you know, that's why I can't rank it the worst, because this was the start of this series that I love so very much. So the storyline, so it says, en route to visit their grandfather's grave, which has apparently been ritualistically desecrated, 5 teenagers drive past a slaughterhouse, pick up and quickly drop off a sinister hitchhiker, eat some delicious home-cured meat at a roadside gas station, before ending up at the old family home, where they are plunged into an never-ending nightmare as they meet a family of cannibals who are more than makeup and power tools what they lack in social skills. Which, in my opinion, out of all of the movies that I'll be talking about in this series, this one has the best storyline. It seems like the most cohesive, which I really like. And then, now I'm just going to get into some, like, general trivia that I have found. And I got this trivia, these are, like, movie-specific trivia. And so I'm just going to get into some of that. So, this says, according to John Larroquette, his payment for doing the opening narration was a marijuana joint, which he is the original narrator, and he comes back, and I think 2 other Texas Chainsaw Massacre films to do the narration for, and I find that hilarious, because if you think about it, in the 70s, marijuana was very much illegal, so I find that fantastic that that was his payment. And then we have, according to Edwin Neal, which is he plays the hitchhiker that they pick up, Texas state troopers actually shook his hand and thanked him for causing crime to drop by 18%. Apparently the message that the audiences took away from the movie was to not pick up hitchhikers, which I find hilarious. But also, that is great because, you know, you can never be too careful with hitchhikers. There's been too many crimes related to people picking up hitchhikers. Entertainment Weekly magazine voted this the second scariest film ever made, behind the original 1973 Exorcist, which obviously The Exorcist movies will be on my list, so we will be revisiting that later, but I find that fantastic. Because I do agree, the series as a whole is one of the more scary series, and I feel like that is just based solely on the fact that, you know, this is based on a legitimate crime that happened. And then my last little piece of trivia for this episode is going to be Guillermo del Toro became a vegetarian after seeing this film. Like, he was so moved by what happened that he became a vegetarian, and I find that hilarious as well. Now, my personal rating, I'm going to be doing a out of 5-star rating. I give this movie a 3 out of 5 stars. Because, like I said, I don't love the graphics, and in my opinion, and if you've seen it, let me know if you agree, this movie to me has always felt like it's Scooby-Doo with murder. Like, that's the vibes that I get from this movie. Like, you have a guy who looks like Fred, and an ascot even. You have a girl that specifically looks like Velma and Daphne. Someone that specifically looks like Shaggy. Just in my opinion. And I just find it quite funny. So it's more of like a spoof movie at this point to me. Like, that's the vibes that I get from it. Like, it was trying to be scary, and it was a horror movie when it came out. But now compared to all of the other Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies that we're going to be talking about, I don't feel like this one is that scary. I'm just going to go ahead real quick and do my other eye off camera, and then we'll come back for final touches. Alright, now for lips, I'm just going in with the I Heart Revolution. This is their chocolate lip gloss in chocolate orange. And now we're going to go ahead and talk kill count. Spoiler alert, if you have not seen this film, these are the deaths and what happens. So, first we have Kirk. He was bashed on the head by Leatherface with a sledgehammer, and his body was presumably eaten afterwards. Which, fantastic. I want to see that. I want that gore. We have Pam, who was thrown in a freezer by Leatherface, and she presumably froze to death. Her body was also presumably eaten afterwards, because, you know, cannibals. We have Jerry, who was bashed on the head by Leatherface with a sledgehammer, and his body was also presumably eaten afterwards. Franklin Hardesty was slashed repeatedly by Leatherface with a chainsaw. His body was presumably eaten afterwards, and his skeleton was later discovered by his uncle, Lefty. And then we have Nubbin Sawyer was accidentally run over by an unnamed trucker with an 18-wheeler. And then we have just a couple that, in the universe of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, died prior, to any of the movies. We have Melody and Lila's grandmother. They died of unknown causes. Grandpa Sawyer died of old age. Drayton Sawyer died of an unknown cause. And then at least 8 unnamed students were shot by an unknown school shooter throughout the universe of the movies. So, that is everything for Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974. The original. The Holy Grail. Let me know what else you guys would like to see. What would you like to hear? Please leave your comments. Is the length of the video too long for you? Would you like it more condensed? This is going to be a trial and error for these first couple of episodes, but I look forward to sharing with you the remake, the 2003 remake, in Thursday's episode. And I will see you guys next time.